Hello, it's Ryan from 2MinuteTennis.net and welcome to Friday Q&A episode 8. I absolutely love these episodes because I get to answer your questions. And if you have a question that you think of while you're watching this video or maybe any of my other videos, go ahead and throw it in the comment section below and maybe I'll just pick your question for an upcoming episode. Now this video is sponsored by PlayerCourt.com. If you want to play more tennis in your local area and you want to find matches, people to play against and matches, practice partners, or even a local coach who's close to you, use my link playercourt.com/2MinuteTennis in the description below for 50% off when you join their awesome community. All right, question number 1. I had 3 great questions, super excited. So this is from Alafly, if that's how you pronounce it. I love these names. All right, here we go. How to exhale in your strokes and not hold your breath while striking the ball. This is a great topic, and I'm excited to just give you something really simple that works for me, works for my students, and I know it's going to work for you. All right, speaking of names here, we've got Reaper of AI. How to punch the ball while volleying. This is an interesting topic, and I'm going to actually use a different word than punch to maybe help you to improve your volleys and for all the other viewers as well. And then last we have Jason. Sometimes it takes me a set to get used to the speed of the ball, especially when someone is playing with pace, as in like hitting the ball hard. How do I get into a quicker rhythm? These are 3 great questions. I'm actually going to start with that last one about how to deal. Let me put my notepad down here. How to deal with pace. And so I'm just going to give you something really simple, Jason, and that is stand farther back when you're playing that person at the beginning than you normally would against someone who's not hitting the ball as hard. And it might sound so simple, but aren't those the best solutions to the problems you have? So, it might be that you serve, they'd be up here. So you serve, and then you just kind of drift back. And I would actually stand farther back throughout the entire point than you normally do. If you're someone who likes to stay very close to the baseline or just a few feet farther back, I would stand even farther back at the beginning of the match. Whether it's return of serve, they're serving, you're farther back than normal. And this is a tip that I give to people all the time when they have a really fast serving opponent is, look, you don't have to stand where you normally stand. I've given so many lessons and people say, how do I deal with a really fast serve? What should I change about my technique? And I give them tips on how to do that and how to change their technique. But I also say, have you thought about just standing farther back? And I was surprised at first, but now I'm not surprised anymore. But I was surprised at first when I gave that suggestion to people, they thought, or they would respond saying, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. I never tried that. Something that simple will just give you more time, right? So when you stand farther back, they're penetrating hard shots, you'll have more time to react to it. And then as you get into the flow of the match and you get used to the pace that they're using, you can stand closer up to the baseline. Like you said, second set, you start to feel better. You won't have to wait till the second set now. Just a few games here or there, you'll get used to their pace and you'll be able to handle how hard they're hitting. Now, Reaper of AI asked about punching volleys. And I don't like the word punch. I think it creates a stop at the contact kind of idea and always a hard idea, like you're going to hit it hard. I actually like the word sweep. If you think about when you're sweeping with a broom, you don't stop the broom at the dirt. You sweep through the dirt where the racket is going to sweep through the ball. And you don't always have to sweep hard, right? You don't always have to hit the volley hard. Here's a simple idea. I actually have a broom handle to help me out with this. When you hit a volley, we want to turn, and I know you'll see some pros and they're like this. Look, if you're on here, you're needing help with your tennis, your volleys, your strategy, your serve, whatever it is. So what we want to do is I want to give you advice that isn't always what you see from the pros, but rather advice that is going to help you, the recreational tennis player, improve your shot. And this is one of those tips that absolutely makes a world of difference. When you turn on a volley, Reaper, and let's talk about the forehand volley. When you turn on a volley, what I want you to do is turn with both hands over to the side where you're going to contact the ball as if, let's talk about your forehand first. So if you're right-handed, that's your right side. I want you to turn as if you have a broom handle on your wrists. And you want to point the broom handle where you want the ball to go. So if I want the ball to go over there to the left of the camera, I'm going to turn like this. If I'm going to hit the ball to the right of the camera, I'm going to hit the ball like this. When you do this, you actually give your racket now an easy target to move toward. But the second idea I want you to think of is when you're done, have your strings still facing your target and in your other hand. So remember, when I turn, let's say I'm going to hit the ball right to you. So I've got the broom handle on my wrists, and it's pointing right to you, right? As I already demonstrated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my racket toward you, toward the camera, and I'm going to move my racket to my left hand, since I'm right-handed. I'm going to move it to my front hand without moving my front hand. This is... Anybody who objects to this, anybody who writes in the comments, I once saw Roger Federer and he hit a volley and his hand was down here like this. I totally get it. I once saw somebody write their signature, but when they were 5 and learning in kindergarten, they were learning to print their name. You gotta start somewhere, and the basic bones and structure of the swing is where you wanna start when you're reconstructing a swing. When you looked in kindergarten above the blackboard and you saw all of the letters of the alphabet, that wasn't anyone's handwriting. That's not, those were perfect letters. You know, what Federer does and, you know, what we see the pros do, that's their signature of the basic bones and structure of the swing. I'm trying to teach you the basic alphabet, right? The basic technique. And that is this move. So when you turn on a volley, turn, feel like you're pointing your strings right to your target, have your non-hitting hand between your racket and the target, and then move your racket towards your target without moving your non-hitting hand, giving the racket a place to go toward the target with the string still facing the target. So it looks like this, right? You hit a volley like that, you will be so consistent. Now, here's what's interesting. On the backhand volley, let's talk about two-hander. If you're a two-handed backhand volley, it's the same idea. You turn your body until your strings face where you want the ball to go, and then you move the racket, trying to keep the feeling like you're pointing your strings towards your target the entire time. On the one-handed volley, it's now the opposite. On the forehand, we turned with the broom handle on the wrists, and then we finished with both hands on the racket. On the backhand volley, you turn with both hands on the racket and you finish with the broom handle on your wrists, right? So the turn of my forehand volley is actually the finish of the backhand volley. See how that works? So the goal is not to punch your volleys like this, but to turn on the forehand volley with both hands over and then move your racket towards your target with the strings facing your target. The feeling is your strings are facing the target the whole time. You're not going to break the plane. If my body is cut in half and here's the left side and here's the right side, I'm not going to break the plane. If I'm hitting on the right side, I'm going to finish on the right side. And the backhand volley is the same thing. I turn to my left side, I finish on my left side again with the strings facing the target. That's a really simple way to think of it. And you're not stopping your racket at contact, just like you don't stop the broom at the dirt. So you hit here, but you keep moving. That way, from beginning to end, the contact is in the middle. Super consistent when you start hitting volleys that way. And last, we're talking about breathing. Now, I've got the Topspin Pro here. You know what to do. Grab my affiliate link in the description below so you can practice this. I absolutely love this product. It's so versatile, and this is one of the things that you can practice, is learning how to exhale. So you want to use a word that has a little bit of breath to it. So you could say like, yes, right? So you could say yes, but make it very airy. And what I would do is I would go out and practice, or get your Topspin Pro out and practice on the Topspin Pro and say the word yes, but a very airy version of it. Say yes every time you hit the ball. So if you're playing and rallying with someone, taking a lesson, I want you to cover up the sound of the hit with your word of yes, you saying yes. That way you're trying to, make it happen at the same time. So you inhale as you're winding up, and then yes. Yes. I'm trying to not let you hear me hit the ball. Yes. 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 Exhaling is really important. I've given lessons to people, and you can see they're turning blue. It's almost like, hey, do you want me to stop feeding so you can take a breath? They have no idea that they're holding their breath. And people hold their breath during points, and it really tires you out. If you're holding your breath during a point, which a lot of people do when they're concentrating and they're really thinking and they're working hard, the point is over and you hear, oh, and they finally are like, thank God that point ended because I can take a breath now. Say something very airy like the word yes, and then get in the habit of that. There was actually a Harvard study I saw where they took the players and they tested their ability to hit the ball a certain speed when they were grunting and not grunting. And when players grunted, they could hit the ball 4% harder. Isn't that crazy? So there is something about exhaling and the grunt and your body. You know, we make fun of, not make fun of, but we definitely make comments about some of the pros who are very loud grunters, but there's something to it. That really is something to it when it comes to your body and the strength and the force that can come from your stomach, from everything, from your lungs when you are grunting and getting tight in the stomach. So work on these ideas. I absolutely love making these videos. I'm going to say it as I said in the last couple episodes of Q&A here, the 2-Minute Tennis Q&A, is if you enjoyed this video, please go below and make sure you click the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I'm just asking you, click the share button, grab the link, and send this video to a couple of friends, because this by far is my worst performing video I ever do. These Q&A videos, even though I think there's a ton of value in them, yet they always are absolute flops. That doesn't mean I'm not going to keep making them, but I would love if more people got to learn what these topics are all about. So Jason Alafly, Reaper of AI, work on these ideas, and there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2MinuteTennis.net. You got this.